What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome back to The Nerdy Narrative. Today I am going to talk about and share with you all of the books that I would like to read during the month of September. For those of you who may be new to The Nerdy Narrative, first of all, welcome. We are so glad to have you. Secondly, how I do my TBR videos is I pretty much just show you the book if I have a physical copy, but I don't sit and read the back of the book. The reason why is that would take forever because I always have a hefty TBR. But don't worry, in the description box below, you are going to find a complete list of all the books I'm going to talk about here today and a link to their book description so you can read all of those to your heart's content. First up on this list, a new release that I have been counting the days for is Holly by Stephen King. For those of you who are constant readers of Stephen King like I am, Holly Gibney is a very popular character that we first met in the Bill Hodges trilogy. Then we see her again in the book The Outsider, and she had a short story in the If It Bleeds collection. I have absolutely no idea what Holly is about. I did not read the book description. I didn't need to. I am almost always going to read a Stephen King new release, but I'm especially going to read one about one of my favorite characters. I will be continuing my Wheel of Time reread. I'm on book 9, Winter's Heart, and I actually cannot remember what happens in this book. The previous 8, I had some idea of what big events took place, but this one is drawing a complete blank for me. So that's exciting. I hope it's a good one. Some of these books are really good and some of them are a little slow. We still love them. Most of them. I've got 2 short story collections on deck for the month of September. The first one is The Ark by Patrick Barb called Pre-Approved for Haunting, a collection of weird, dark stories and millennial anxieties. I'm very excited for this one. I have read Patrick Barb before. I appreciate he will explore an opposing perspective about things, so I'm very eager to see what he's going to do here. I love his writing style, so it's just going to be a great time in that collection. The other collection that I'm going to get started on, and depending on how many are in it, it might carry over into October. It's called The Vengeful Dead by John James Minster. That is the author who wrote The Undertaker's Daughter that I read recently and just absolutely loved that book. It was one of those that took me by surprise. I was going to sit down and start it one night, just read a couple of chapters just to get a taste of it, and 100 pages later I looked up and was going, wow. He writes horror really well, really well, and I don't want to go into too much detail about what really got me in that one because it's a surprise. You don't know what's in there, but oh my gosh, so good. Of course, a new month means a new nonfiction essay by Joan Didion. I am buddy reading this collection with my friend Kate from the Literary Apothecary. The essay for the month of September is called Many Mansions. Y'all have to let me know if I've got any Joan Didion fans out there. I know a lot of authors that I read love Joan Didion. I've seen them talk about it and be influenced by her writing. If any of you are fans out there, you'll have to let me know what you've read by her so we can chat about it when I get to that essay if I haven't gotten to it yet. Another series reread I'm doing is the Dresden Files. I'm rereading the entire series, including the graphic novels and the short stories, and I've got all 3 this month. So I'm on White Knight. There's a short story that comes between it and Small Favor called It's My Birthday Too, which you can find in the collection Side Jobs. And there's a graphic novel which I want to say is called Downtown. All of the Dresden graphic novels are part of Kindle Unlimited, so that's been really nice. I can read them on my iPad because those suckers are expensive. I don't know why the graphic novels for Dresden are so expensive, but they're like $40 to $50 and I'm just not doing that. I'm not willing to blow my entire monthly book budget on a graphic novel. So those of you who clicked on this because you saw that I was hosting a giveaway, I've made you wait long enough. Let me share that information with you real quick. In the month of September, I am going to be reading The Ark for Jiggly Spot and the Zero Intellect by P.D. Aliva. Carnivals, Cannibals, and Clowns. Oh my! I am so excited to read this one for many different reasons. Look at this cover. How on earth, if you're a horror fan, can you not be intrigued by this cover? Creepy clown, a carnival. I just was won over by the very first line of the description. Meet Jiggly Spot, a 5-foot-tall, half-human, half-warlock carnival clown who spends his free time moonlighting as a drug-dealing pimp and lackey for demonic entities who prey on the weak and vulnerable, casting their dark shadow across humanity through manipulation and fear. In celebration of Jiggly Spot and the Zero Intellect Publishing on Halloween, October 31st, PD Aliva is going to be giving away 3 signed paperbacks and 5 digital copies. This giveaway is open to residents of the US, the UK, Canada, and EU. So it is international. All you need to do to enter is follow the author on Instagram and sign up for his newsletter on his website, both of which I will have linked in the description box down below to make it easy for you. The giveaway starts today and the winners will be chosen on October 15th. So get on over to Instagram and follow PD Aliva, sign up for his newsletter, and you will be good to go. The author is working on designing some really cool swag that may also be included. Y'all don't want to miss this, I'm telling you. But don't worry, I'm going to definitely keep reminding y'all as we continue on while I'm reading this one and reviewing it and talking about it here on the channel. Now that I've reached the point in my running where I'm getting back into racing and training, I noticed that the coach that I always purchased his training plans when I raced a few years ago and had a lot of success with, he changed his format. He does what he calls 80-20, which you spend 80% of the time training slow and 20% of the time doing speed work. So his name is Matt Fitzgerald. He wrote a book called 80-20 Running, which talks about how you can run stronger and race faster by training slower. It was $5 on Audible. It would have been silly not to pick it up. So I'm going to be reading that one. I don't know that I'll really talk about it much on the channel. I don't know if I have anybody out there who's interested in hearing about that. If you are, let me know and I'll include it. That one is just me learning more about the training plan that I'm using that is kicking my butt. I keep thinking, wow, I spend a lot of time running slower, which leads to faster recovery between runs, but my gosh, that 20%, I don't know if it's just really hard or if I'm just old. And I believe all of the rest of the books that I'm about to go over are all books that I accepted from a publisher or an author to read and review, so let's hit those really quickly. First up on the list is 12 Blades in Contempt by Jordan Darrett. I just know it's a fantasy novel. I know that my friend Kate had him on her channel. She read and enjoyed this book and talked with him about it. I will absolutely link that conversation between those down below. This is one I accepted for review like 2 years ago. I don't remember what it was, but there was something about it that had me saying yes. All else fails, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Every Friday I come on here and talk about all of the books that I read. I include links for all of my written reviews, so I'm going to be talking about all of these books more as the month progresses. Now from NetGalley and publishers, I have 3. I have one called A Lonesome Blood Red Sun by David Putnam that's coming out on October 17th. I have no idea what that one was about, but apparently it sounded really good. If I had to guess, it's probably a crime thriller. I was also approved on NetGalley for The Hexologist by Josiah Bancroft. I did not read anything about that book. I saw the gorgeous cover. I saw that it was by Josiah Bancroft. I absolutely adored the Books of Babel. I'm going to read anything Josiah Bancroft writes. So that was an immediate request. They approved me and I was just like, oh my God. And then the final arc that I was approved for, which comes out October 3rd, is called Let Him In by William Friend. This one is absolutely a horror story. I saw the cover. I read the description at the time that I was perusing NetGalley and thought, oh yeah, that is definitely for me. And then the next 3 were sent to me by the authors, but it was because I asked for them. The first one is Reign of Demons by Karim Solomon. It's the 3rd and final book in the trilogy. This was one where he sent me for review the first book in the series, and I loved it so much that when I wrote the review, I was on my Kindle. You know, it pops up that screen. It's like other books you might like by the author, and it was book 2 in the series. I immediately downloaded it and started immediately. And if book 3 had been out at that time that I finished the second book, I would have immediately immediately started it. This is such a fascinating, fast-paced fantasy story. I cannot wait to see how it's going to end. Okay, I can't talk about it because it's book 3 in the series, and if you haven't read the first 2, I will link my written reviews for both of those down below so you can check them out and see if there's one you might be interested in, but it was amazing. Next is the arc for book 2 in Cassidy Failing's series, Ancient's Blood. It's called The Binding Power. The first book was The Awakening Fire, which I will link in the cards, that video, if you want to watch that review. I can't wait for this next one. And then the next one I want to try to read this month is Thrice by Andrew G. Meredith. He actually contacted me to read and review the first book in his other series. That one I tried and I didn't get on well with it. It's called Deathless Beast. It's the first in his other series. I didn't get on well with that one, at least not at the time that I chose to read it. I am going to try it again. It was not a DNF, it was a not right now. I know the 2 series are very different from one another, so this one might be the one that's more my speed. Now, that is a lot of books, and will I read all of those this month? Probably not, but in the event something crazy happens, I do still have NC Scrimmager's Sea of Souls here that I want to read. This one, if my memory serves me correctly, is a Scottish inspired fantasy. I don't care. This is why I said yes to this book. The author's name, NC Scrimmager. I read one of her science fiction novels as part of SPSFC and just loved it. It's called Those Left Behind. She did such an amazing job with her characters, and as a character-driven reader, if you write great characters, or even if you just write great characters that I love to hate, you've got me. You've got me. I'm gonna be a fan of your writing forever. So I want to get this one read. I also want to get Kevin Andrews' Lily read. This one is about a small town that has 2 serial killers in it, and y'all know I love serial killers, so I hope to get it read in September, but if not, I'll carry it over into October. And then I still have here Lord of a Shattered Land by Howard Andrew Jones. I really wanted to get this one worked in and read and reviewed last month, but I'm just unable to. I have been behind the entire year on my reading schedule. Some of that is my fault. Some of that was just life throwing curveballs. But I am going to keep holding on these books. I'm going to roll them over for as long as I have to get them read. I know that my TBR opens up because I made myself quit scheduling books in like April. So it may take me till midway through next year to get caught up on all the books I've been carrying over. But doggone it, it's going to happen. So those are all of the books that I am hoping to read during the month of September. You all will have to let me know in the comments down below. Have you already gotten yourself some spooky reads set aside for September? Are you saving them all for October? If you have picked some, even if it's for October, go ahead and share with me what you're planning to read, because I am always on the hunt looking for more spooky horror reads to add to my TBR. Thank you all so very much for watching and spending your time with me. I hope you are excited to hear more about these books in the coming weeks, so definitely make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.